But let's go ahead and further break this down, because I need you guys to really understand this, okay? Let's talk about it further, okay? So I assume that you guys don't want to be a convicted felon for violating copyright, right? So let's go over this a little bit more. As creators, innovators in small businesses and online services, libraries, educators, civil society organizations are including controversial copyright or trademark bills, this is a must-pass piece of legislation, they're saying. We respect Congress's intent to improve our intellectual property system and protect the rights of creators and entrepreneurs. However, certain aspects of this package bills will have negative impacts, this is on you guys, on small to medium-sized businesses, creators, libraries, their patrons, students, teachers, and everyone. And we ask that you decline to include this package of bills and fund the bill. So this is something that you guys need to know, that there are people fighting against this. There are people trying to prevent this from occurring, and you guys need to understand what's going on with this. So why would somebody like THOM TILLIS be pushing to make it potentially a felony to use a video clip on Twitch, or a music clip on Twitch, a video on YouTube, a random song on Instagram? Why would this US senator be pushing for something so aggressive? Well, as it says here in the article, it's not difficult to see why THOM TILLIS would push for this, because it would be at the detriment of regular people. And as the American Prospect points out, Tillis's campaign committee and leadership pay very close attention to this part, received donations totaling well over $100,000 from, oh, look who this is, the Motion Picture Association, Sony Pictures, Universal Music Group, Comcast and NBC Universal, the Internet and Television Association, Salem Media Group, and Warner Music, among others. So, THOM TILLIS has received $100,000 to help him with his campaigns and with his PACs and to hold political power from the big companies that own copyright material. So it's very clear why senators do these sorts of things, right? They are in the pocket of these major entertainment companies that are on the way out. That's the big problem here. These companies are on the way out and they know it. Old media like TV, like the music industry, etc., they know that they're losing ground versus social media platforms like Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, etc. And so what do they do to try to retain power? They're trying to ice out the social media platforms because they're losing business to Facebook and to Google and what have you, and to Amazon and all these companies that are growing in this space. And so what do dying dinosaurs do as they die? And what do dying industries do as they go down? They become very litigious. They lobby senators, they lobby the government to try to put laws into place. They try to use their influence and their money to try to slow down the growth of the new things that are coming into place to replace them, so that they can live as long as possible and make as much money for as long as possible. Do you guys think that it is any, yeah, follow the money, says Pablo Fernandez and Casual Nerd Jason, that's right. So what does that mean here? So do you think there's any, do you think it's chance, let's say, that the DMCA takedown fiasco all of a sudden came to a head right now? Do you think it's chance that that occurred? I mean, this is my editorial speculation as a commentator. I'm restreaming on multiple platforms right now as a commentator, by the way. This stream is sponsored by Restream. If you want to increase your viewership, if I was just streaming on Twitch, I'd have 13 viewers. If I was just streaming on Periscope, I'd have 9. If I was just streaming on YouTube, I'd have 17, but instead I've got 50 right now using Restream.io, link in the description below if you're interested in that. But do you think it's chance that that these sorts of DMCA takedowns are happening right now at this timing? Because of COVID-19, the music industry has been suffering significantly at this time. The music industry and big artists have been making the majority of their money from live concerts recently. Now that it's really hard to sell records and it's hard to sell MP3s, The music industry made tons of money off of merchandise and off of live concerts. Now that people can't go to live concerts anymore, the music industry is suffering, the artists are suffering, and so the Recording Industry Association is basically super pressured because they aren't making money anymore. So where are they going to go to make money? They're going to go sue people. They're going to go after people legally, and they need to show all of the artists and everyone that they represent that they're fighting hard for them in this new COVID-19 world where you can't do concerts and you can't sell merchandise as effectively. So the timing of all of this happening, the timing of this law, the timing of the DMCA takedown fiasco on Twitch, in my opinion, is not, it's not chance, it's not happenstance. It's all happening right now because all of these old media companies, all of these old media industries, TV, movies, etc., their industries are dying. They are suffering right now. They're making way less money. Let me just ask you a hypothetical question. How many of you guys are going to a movie this weekend? Go ahead and let me know in chat if you're going to a movie. Right? Nobody's going to a movie right now. Every movie theater is completely closed in the United States, at least right now, because of COVID-19. And who were these people on the list of people that were soliciting this senator to put this law into place? Oh yeah, the Motion Picture Association. Huh, look at that. Sony Pictures. Huh, look at that. I'll be darned. I wonder if they would have any interest right now in suing people or scaring people into violating copyright on the internet. I wonder if they're hurting right now and they need to take any action they can think of, and they may be desperate to make it in these crazy times when they can't make any revenue off of movies and movie theaters anymore. I wonder if they would have any motivation to give senators like Thom Tillis $100,000 to maybe try to make it a felony to scare people out of maybe pirating their content or something like that, whatever it is that they think is going to happen here. So, of course, the timing is questionable, you could say. And of course they're scared. And of course they're going to sick their lawyers on anybody they can. So, what is it that you guys can do about this? What is it that you guys can do potentially to protect yourself or to even prevent something like this from happening? So, if you guys want to protect yourselves, here's what I'm doing. I'm not your lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but here's what I'm doing to protect myself if something like this goes through. Are you ready? Here are the actions I'm taking. Number one, I am not using any music at all on any of my avenues moving forward that I am not 100% sure I have the written permission and rights to use. So the song that I'm turning on right now that I play here on this particular Awall Digital podcast, I went out and specifically bought a license for it. I have that PDF. It's on my Google Drive. So if anybody wants to question that this background music I'm playing right now, whether I have the commercial rights to use it, I know I do. I've got that agreement in the bank. So you guys, if you're going to be using music on any of your avenues, you need to make sure that you absolutely have the commercial rights to use that music on social media platforms and wherever you're using it. Consider looking into options like Pretzel Rocks. Consider looking into options like Stream Beats, and consider looking into options like Monster Cat Gold. Those are subscription services or free services where you can potentially subscribe and get licensed content that you can potentially use on your avenues, or you can buy tracks one by one. Because if this US law goes through and it turns using music out, copyrighted material from a misdemeanor to a felony, you absolutely cannot take the risk of going to jail. That's how serious this makes it. It goes from slap on the wrist, or you could get banned from Twitch, to jail, potentially. So don't play around with that. Get a license for the music you're using and make sure that you're protecting yourself there, okay? Another thing that you can do, or that I'm doing, I'm not gonna tell you that you have to do this, but that I'm doing, I've established an LLC, a limited liability corporation for my company, Awall Digital LLC. And so that means that anything I do on the internet, on all of my avenues, is protected through that limited liability corporation. You can go to websites like LegalZoom to set up an LLC, Google how to set up an LLC, but that can help protect you financially, especially if something happens and you were to be accused of a felony, maybe somebody tries to go after your assets. I've created an LLC to protect myself, and I hope that others can do the same. I can't tell you to do it because I'm not your lawyer, but that's what I'm doing to help protect myself. One thing I'm setting up right now is liability insurance for myself. And I've got a lawyer already, by the way. You should get a lawyer. But liability insurance is something that if you can afford it, if you get liability insurance, let's say you get sued, let's say somebody comes after you for a felony for copyright material, you can potentially have money or have a backup plan in place to pay for lawyers or to help you pay for damages or to help you fight something if this goes through in the Senate and the House to potentially keep you out of jail. Okay, and this might sound apocalyptic here, guys. This might sound crazy. But this is something that US senators are currently trying to push through, and they're trying to push it through because they know that there's a chance. Okay? And they're probably not going to stop as long as the movie industry, the TV industry, and the music industry continues to put money in their pocket to push this sort of legislation through. And so you guys need to protect yourselves if you can. What I'm doing to protect myself, LLC, liability insurance, I've got a lawyer, and I'm making sure that every bit of music I use on my avenues, I explicitly have a commercial license for it, and I want you guys to do that. What's an LLC? Squad Track is asking that question. It is a limited liability corporation. It's something that you can set up in the United States. You need to talk to a lawyer or maybe look into what it may be in your country, everyone. But a limited liability corporation makes it so that you are not personally liable for any damages that occur with your business potentially. That's what it is in a nutshell. And so you can do your research on it and the different types of LLCs that you can set up, but it helps limit your legal exposure. Okay? That's something that can help protect you guys.